Welcome to the Marlene Saunders Show, where we have real talk, real conversations, and you're welcome to it. If you have not subscribed already, subscribe to this channel. We go live Monday to Fridays, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you're welcome to join us. Welcome to the Blah, Blah, Blah podcast. Hey everyone, it's Marlene of the Marlene Saunders Show, real talk, real conversations, and you're welcome to it. Today on the show, we're talking about family, our relatives, and things that we may go through within our family. And first off, I have to start off by saying, we tend to think the ones that are our our relatives are our family, but family is who you make it. It's who chooses you, who treats you with love, care, concern that you deserve. And there are so many that are within our relatives that really do not deserve our time, don't deserve our effort, and don't deserve us. So, welcome to today's podcast show. We're talking today about our relatives. It's your own who will hurt you the most. It's your own. It's your own blood that you would never expect. A lot of times we would never look to the things that our relatives do to us. We would never, because it's some of the things that we would never do to them. But this is a warning. This is a word of caution. Don't expect the best. Don't expect the ones that are your very own to treat you the right way. Don't have any expectations really when it comes to them, because they will they will be cutthroat, they will backstab, they will do everything that they can to break your own spirit. And I never thought that it was something possible, because I'm not that way. I always thought that's my family. you know I didn't understand why they didn't care for me, why they didn't love me, why they didn't support me or try to understand me. And I really don't get it. But it's like I'm waiting. I have this false expectation. I have this expectation that because they are my relatives, that they are supposed to care for me. They're supposed to love me. They're supposed to be understanding. They're supposed to be supportive. And if we um, go into life thinking that way, expecting people to do X, Y, and Z, we will always be disappointed. You can't expect. You can be hopeful. You can hope that they do, but you can never expect, because anytime you expect people to treat you a certain way, they never do. They never will. And I think I think it's tragic, to be honest. I think it's very tragic to know that the people that you were born into this relationship with these set of individuals. And I do have to say that most of the time, the ones that we pour all this effort and energy into loving them and caring for them and all of those things, and we don't get back what we want from them, it's very hurtful. It hurts our feelings. It's not a good feeling to not feel supported, or to be backstabbed, or, or to be talked about. That's one of the worst pains ever um, in my life, trying to get over that hurdle of your own. It could be parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, grandparents, um, not being nice to you, talking about, your looks, your weight, whatever, instead of being there for you and trying to help you to improve or to get better or to reassure you that, I know you're not in a good space right now, but we're here, we're supportive of you. And you get quite the opposite. You get the opposite of what you want, and it's definitely not a good feeling. It doesn't feel good to not get support, and that hurt, that pain, it lasts a lifetime. I don't think you ever fully get over it when you get um, family pain, right? When you get that pain from your own blood, it hurts you unlike any other. But, we have to realize that it's the ones that we are, the families, the relatives that, are born. We're born into this group, but it doesn't mean that that group actually wants you there. And I have to say that relatives expect the most but will do the least. And that's one of the truest things ever. They will expect so much from you. They will expect you to always be there anytime they call, anytime they want you to show up, anytime they need money, anytime they need whatever, you to watch their kids, take care of their kids, do something for them. They expect for you to be there, and they don't want to hear anything else. And if you say you can't, it's like a temper tantrum and so much drama. And then they'll start telling other people, and look, and they're mean and they're selfish. And look at this. And I can't believe it because it's this person to me. It becomes such a big deal. And one of the best things that I ever learned um, in my life as an adult is that just because people are our relatives, it does not mean that they care for you. It doesn't mean that they want to be around you. And it definitely means that they don't, that they like you, much less love you. I think all relationships have to be worked on. And if that person has not put any work into getting to know you, into, caring about you, trying to support you, trying to understand you, because you can't expect everybody that you're born into this group of your relatives to be the same. Some are going to be different. Some are going to want different things. They're going to like different things. They're going to have different values. And I found that when you want different things, you want to dress differently, look differently, have different education, have different perspectives. You don't keep yourself in this closed-minded space. Um, you're not very readily accepted. Actually, they hate you. They hate you for not conforming and being like everybody else in the group. I think I've definitely always walked to the beat of my own drum and been different and stood up for what I believed was right. And I challenge things. I challenge things, like I want to understand, like, why is it that way? And a lot of relatives, especially the ones that are older, think that it's rudeness, that you're rude, you're disrespectful because you want to know why. It's not disrespectful. I just am a person that I don't understand double standards. I don't understand double standards. I don't like double standards, and I will never allow double standards. And it does not matter. I don't care if it's another woman. I don't have standards based on because I'm a woman, I give all women a pass. No, if somebody's doing the wrong thing, then they're doing the wrong thing. I don't care who you are. Um, you don't help other people, you don't make them grow, you don't give them awareness and independence, you don't help them to broaden their perspective. You continue to enable them in their wrongs, so people will not change until you pull away from them, until you call them out and tell them what they're doing. Anybody who is a trailblazer, anybody who enacts change, especially within what has always happened. It's not always going to be Everybody's not going to come together and embrace you for that change, but it's okay. I had to learn that it was okay for me to be different. It was okay for me to say, being toxic and always talking about one another, that's not a good thing. It's immature, it's mean, it's rude. Um, and the things that you say to people, your words have a lasting effect. It hurts like no other. Good morning, Miss Tamika. Happy Friday to you. Thank you so much for being here. I'm just going to be on for a little bit, and then I'm going over to my other channel because I have a few appointments today. So I had to do things a little bit earlier. So I do apologize to those who were expecting the 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but time is money, and you have to shake and bake. So it's important so much that we realize that everybody that we love doesn't love us back. And I had to start working on myself. I had to learn to love myself and stop expecting love from my own relatives. Once you start working on yourself and you start checking your own self, you can start seeing more and more toxic behaviors, not only in yourself, but also in other people, and especially the ones we call our family, our relatives. And I have chosen my personal choice. I'm not saying this is for everybody, but I've made a personal choice to who I call my family. Even if you are my blood, you are not automatically seen as my family. Family is something that you have to earn that. You have to deserve it. You have to treat me with respect to get into my heart that way. Um, and I'm not going to even lie and say that it's easy to pull away from family. It's not easy to pull away from family or relatives that are rude, that are users and takers. It really is. It's very hard. Hey, Embarkation Nation, welcome. How are you doing? Happy Friday to you. Appreciate you being here. And if everybody could hit the like, I'd really appreciate it. So that's something that I had to learn. And this one is one of the hardest things that I had to do when I started working on myself. They will keep taking from you until you cut them off. Woo! What a life lesson. I had to learn that because I thought the more that I would give to my relatives, I thought the more I give to them, they're going to open up their eyes. They're going to see how much I care about me. They're going to see how much I care about them, and then they will care about me back. But it's no, it's some of them because of they are toxic because they have toxic behaviors. They only will see how much they can get, not how much they can give. Learning to give has to be something inside of you. That person has to want to be a giver. But so many people are takers, and unfortunately, some of the takers are your very own blood relatives. Yes, happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Yes, thank you so much, Tamika, for dropping the link. I really appreciate it. And that's one thing that I had to definitely learn. I had to learn that I had to cut off people who weren't supportive, were understanding, were users, were, manipulate your mind, only telling you they love you when they want something from you, or only calling you when they need you, but they never call you and ask you if you need anything. That's a no-no. That's a big no-no. And we can't allow that. We have to know that we deserve better. And that takes you working on yourself, elevating your own standards. It takes courage to cut off people who are disrespectful of you. It takes a lot of courage to do that. But you can do it. You can do it, chat family. You really can. And this is another thing that I felt is a really big deal. And that's setting boundaries. And I never thought that that was something that was important, but even within your own, within with your children, your spouse, your significant other, your siblings, parents, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents, anybody who is your relative. Of course, everybody you have to set boundaries, but especially with your own relatives, you have to set boundaries of what you like, what you don't like, because until you put out there what you want, what you believe in, what you desire, people are going to pass that line, cross the line, be rude to you, be disrespectful, try to do anything that they can do in order to break you or in order to get everything that they want. And we can't allow that. It is hard to cut off the ones you love, but boundaries are needed. Yes. It is hard to cut off the ones you love, but I definitely have. I definitely have. I had to, because if people are doing things that is dangerous, or the ones that try to poison your mind, mm-mm. If somebody tries to poison your mind, not good, not good. Hey, Lashes Journey, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Friday to you. Welcome in. And yes, Embarkation Nation, um, you got to set boundaries. Boundaries are needed. And I know, like you said, it's hard to cut off the ones you love, but that's something that I had to do. I had to cut off people within my relatives, not because I wanted to. I honestly didn't want to cut them off, because I do love them from my heart. But I had to show that I loved me first. And until you love yourself enough, you can't let people run over you, use you. You can't enable people and, always doing things for them, but they would never do one thing for you. They would never give you one red cent. They would never be there and show up for something that's important for you. Never even a phone call to say, how are you doing? How's your mental health? Do you need anything? No. No. And we have to pay attention to all of those things. Yes, Lashes. Good morning, Miss Tracy. How are you doing? Happy Friday. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, and we're the ones that have to set the boundaries. Yes, we're the ones that have to set boundaries. And that was hard for me to set boundaries, especially with my siblings, because you're raised with them. And I don't know, I always thought that, they're my siblings, they must know me, they must know that what they're doing is hurting me, they must know. But they're not mind readers. So as an adult, I had to be on that journey of learning to speak up and communicate, one by one, not in a group, not to embarrass anybody, but showing with maturity and love. Hey, my brother, hey, my sister, when you do this, this is how it makes me feel. I learned that when I was in therapy, to say that out loud. When you do this, this is how it makes me feel. Not, yelling, not being rude, not putting them down, not trying to embarrass them, but making them aware. When you say this, when you do this, this is how it makes me feel. So now that they know, now they understand, so they can't say they didn't know that it hurts you, it disappoints you, it makes you feel some type of way. And and then say other things. I would really appreciate if you would do this, this, and this for me. Having reasonable and attainable expectations with others is so important. It shows our maturity, it shows our growth. And we grow, we help them to grow when we grow. And that's important for us to say, I know maybe we have never done this before. We're learning and we're growing together, but in this learning and growing period, I want you to know this. And then the same thing back, that for them to always feel comfortable too, to say, when you do this, this is how it makes me feel. It's not a one-sided thing. Hey, Nancy, how are you doing? Welcome. Appreciate you being here. Happy Friday to you. Yeah, I think everybody has to learn. Everybody has to learn that. And I don't know why I felt like probably the first 20 years of my life, I was sitting and waiting for my relatives to give me the love that I wanted, you know? And like the saying goes, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. So until I started having conversations and actually working on having a relationship with with each of my siblings, not just when there's a party that you show up. No, I mean, actually having conversations, really getting to know each other as siblings, as aunt and niece, as uncle and niece, or whatever the relationship is. Learning to work on having a personal relationship. And as a child, you can't help with the family that you can't help who you're born into. That's just how it was. And but when you get older, you have to learn to grow up and to be mature, having conversations, learning to communicate, learn what each other likes, setting those boundaries. And we may not always understand, but we should be respectful of the other person. Because there was things that I was doing to my brothers and sisters for years, but they never told me that it irritated them. Now I know I don't do that anymore. Even setting small boundaries like, please don't call me before this time and please don't call me after this time. There was like that I didn't know because I'm not a morning person. Please don't call me before this time because I'm still sleeping and I'm a light sleeper and that will interrupt my sleep and it's going to make me cranky. Simple things like that, that it may be something that we kind of expect for people to know, but until you tell people, they won't know. And especially our relatives, you got to let them know. You got to let them know. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. And say that all the time we need to do better at communicating so that we can win. Exactly, Miss Tracy. Exactly. And communication is not something that everybody knows how to do. It's not something that everybody understands, that everybody's going to like, everybody will be on board. I'll tell you that when I started making changes, like, I don't want to don't just call me when, that there's drama in the family or when somebody is sick. I don't only want to hear those type of things. I want to hear some uplifting things like, I'm working on get a promotion. I lost a few pounds. I'm working on my relationship with God. Whatever it is, something positive, something encouraging and uplifting. And that's something that in some families that we have to work on. I had to work on that with my siblings, to not only call them, hey, this is happening, blah, blah, blah. I had to learn to mindset shift, because we grew up in that, like, like wanting to nitpick or look for things inside of each other so we could be upset or angry. I had to learn, and I feel like in my family right now, I had to be the person to learn communication, to learn to not harbor resentment, to not be bitter, to not always think that, my siblings or whoever is against me, that maybe they did it and they weren't cognizant of it. Maybe they're having a bad day. Give people the benefit of the doubt. I had to learn that. But when I wasn't mature enough, I made an assumption. Oh, you're always trying to do things to hurt me. We're the ones that have to change our perspective, how we choose to look at the situation. Yes, somebody can do things and it can make us upset, but have you told them? Have you told them, when you do this, that upsets me? When you do this, I don't like it, or this angers me. But I would appreciate it when you do this. When we talk about the things that we don't like, we also have to add the things that we do like. It has to be balanced. I don't like when you do this, but I really appreciate, when you do this for me and this, I'm really grateful. I'm really thankful. Thank you so much for doing that. So it's about a balance. We can't just go all in with our relatives and just say, you don't do this, you don't do this, you don't, because people are going to put up a wall. They're going to put a wall. They're going to stop listening to you and they're going to separate themselves from you because nobody only wants to hear negative things that we do. Yeah, we all make mistakes. We all do things at times, but also we have to also say the good things, and the things that we're grateful about, others too. It can't always just be negative. And I'm grateful to be in a place in my life where I'm mature. I'm mature enough to say I do wrong, but I also do right. And from here on out, I like to highlight the positive things that we do, and I try my best to be a forgiving person. But if something starts to irk me, like they've done that a few times, that's the time where you have a conversation. That's not the time to pick up the phone and call somebody else. We have to learn to confront problems, confront disunity. We have to break that apart. This life, this system is set up to make us, we're already stressed out, we're overwhelmed, we're overworked. There's so much negativity in within your relatives. You have to work on those relationships, because unfortunately not a lot of us have that sort of relationship with our own relatives that's good. It's something that I had to learn. I had to learn how to love my brothers. I had to learn how to love my aunts and my cousins. I had to learn that. And I had to give people the benefit of the doubt. I had to learn to start communicating. I had to be the one to be a trailblazer to say, hey, let's do a Zoom conference. Let's do a thing on Zoom where we all cook and we hang out. You have to start doing things together to get to know each other as a person, and not just, I'm not a person that only wants to get together on a holiday. That's not me. I don't care about those things. What I care about is you, who you are. I want my relatives to feel my support every day. And that's how it should be within your relatives. You should feel support every day. Is today a good day? Or is today not a good day? And it's one of the things that we started, having a group text, and we'll like, I'm having a bad day. And then the other relatives in that group text will, is there something I can do for you? How can I support you? And that's how change starts being made. And that's how you learn to understand each other. That's how you learn that my relatives is a safe place for me to fall within this world, that you get no support, that you get negativity, that you get blacklisted, that you get backstabbed. It should not be that way with your own relatives, but it's something that's a work in progress. I'm telling you that part. It is a work in progress. So continue to work on your relationships. And I know that it's hard. I know that it was definitely something hard. And we've only been doing this for the past 2 years, working on our relationships with one another, giving each other the benefit of the doubt, learning to talk to that person, the person that offended us, and not rushing and talking to somebody else. Learn to face the person who hurts you instead of hearing it from somebody else, because that's where the hurt, the pain, and the drama begins. And we have to do better. We do. Got to do better. Exactly. Lifing is a job, but you have to work at it. You do. You have to work at it, you know, and setting those boundaries is one way, and communication is another. So here is the last point, everybody. It's usually your own who will hurt you the most. And we think most of the time that people, because they're your blood, you have the same blood running in your veins, that they love you. And it's not always the case. I've learned that even with enacting, communication, talking with one another, checking up, trying to form certain relationships, there are some that just want to use you. There are some that don't care about you. There's some that, they have some mental illness. And I had to learn that not everybody that I loved me back. And that does hurt. But it did mean that I had to have enough courage to say, I cannot let you keep hurting me, no matter how much I love you. I have to love myself more. And for me, I'm not speaking what you believe, I'm speaking what I believe. And because I love myself and because of my connection and my spirituality with God, I can't allow people to hurt me, because that's not love. God loves me. And because I love him, he wants me to have good and healthy relationships with others. And when I don't, it strains my relationship with my creator. And I can't have that. I can only have people in my life that will love me back like I deserve. And, I'm hopeful for that for you all as well. So, yeah, that's what I came on to talk about today. You know, working on yourself, working on your relationships, learning to have conversations, um, and just being mature, communicating, and understanding that you're not going to get love and support from all of your relatives, but the mature ones, the ones that are willing to grow, they'll eventually get on board. And if others don't, it's okay. Just be close to the ones that want to be close to you, and the rest, form your own relationships. Family does not always have to be by blood. I have friends that are now my family because of the way they support me and care for me. So as long as you have people that love you, care for you, and support you, that's what matters the most. And the ones that don't give them that title of family. That's a relative. Put it in its own category, because love does not hurt. uh, I think that's the most important thing I wanted to come on and say. Love doesn't hurt. And if you have people in your family, um, and you say that's your family and they're hurting you, we need to get back inside and evaluate, is that really my family or is that a relative? It's two different categories. So think about it, pray about it, meditate about it, and do what's best for you. So thank you so much for joining me for this real talk, real conversation. If you have not hit the like on the way in, please hit the like on the way out. I will see you all on Monday for the next real talk, real conversation with the Marlene Saunders Show. I appreciate you tuning into the podcast, and leave me a comment in the comment section below if you are listening in the replay. And if you have not subscribed already, please subscribe to this channel. I'll see you guys on Monday. Have a great rest of your day.